Good afternoon and thanks for joining us right here on Midday Kentucky on what is a chilly day outside. It was at about 11 a.m. this morning. I think when you first got here, I screamed out maybe 3 times, which no one answered, saying it's snowing, it's snowing. And I think our producer said, are you going to go out and roll in the snow?
No, I said that.
Oh, you said that. And I'm like, well, there's not enough snow on the ground to roll in. Not like the panda that we saw yesterday.
Oh, yeah, that was adorable.
And I think there was more snow on Saturday than there is today.
Yeah,
and I'm sure I don't know whether JC told us earlier if there's more snow out of Lexington, because I only just watch what goes on in Hamburg.
Outside the window.
Outside the window.
Yeah, I'm
Hamburg.
not sure.
Yeah, I can't remember if she told us. Hey girls, how are we?
Doing great.
I meant to ask you yesterday, I feel bad about it. Doug's arrived home. We all saw that on Sunday.
Yep.
So everyone's settled in and everything's nice?
Yes, everything is wonderful.
Good.
He's changing light bulbs as we speak, so I'm very excited about that.
Well, Doug, stop watching TV and continue vacuuming the floor. Okay? So yeah, everything's good at
Yes,
home?
it's
You're
wonderful.
happy?
It's great. I'm just glad to have him home safe
Good.
and sound.
All right. Well, let's kick off the show. We've got a bit to go through today. And this is, I thought, interesting considering Christmas is usually a time of joy, but for some, the joy might not come so easily. Now, the question is, would you pay to avoid certain things? All right. Like visiting the in-laws or talking about politics. A new Yelp survey has revealed exactly how much Americans would be willing to fork over to control certain aspects of their holiday experience. Now, we had 2,200 people surveyed, not me personally when I say we. But tell me, what would you pay someone so you don't have to decorate the house?
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Because everyone says, Christmas is so lovely. I love decorating and I love having dinner with the family and cooking. Well, guess what? 2,225 people surveyed said that's all hogwash.
Yeah.
So here's what they're saying. Someone would pay $143 to decorate their house.
I seriously was thinking about 100.
Really?
Yeah.
To have your shopping done for you for the Christmas dinner, that someone would pay $121. This is on average, everyone.
Okay.
Instead of you doing it, plus the expense of, are you ready? They'd pay $259 so their childlike festival spirit came back. So what it was like for you at Christmas as a kid, you would pay a group or whoever $259 to get that feeling back. What I found interesting is you'd pay $158 not to have dinner with your in-laws.
Yeah, I thought that was the best part of what I saw.
And here's something that happens. I have a friend of mine, Kathy Iskal, that for the last 2 Thanksgiving, well, I'm going to tell a fib. I'm going to say 2, but I'm sure she'll send us an email. She said Thanksgiving lunch was not great because the turkey was still frozen when she put it in the oven.
Yeah.
And she blamed her husband. So here they're saying they would pay someone $108 plus the price of the turkey to make sure it's cooked to perfection.
Just the turkey,
I mean,
or
I
the
would
whole
venture
meal?
to say
Just
a
the
lot of
turkey.
people already do that. Like I know so many people who don't cook the turkey, or they do the Whole Foods option, where you go, you show up, it's already stuffed, it's prepared. All you do is pop it in the oven. You get it the night before, and a lot of people pay a good amount of money for convenience. So I'm not surprised by this. I like the in-law amount.
They would pay $146 for that, what you just described, on top of their meal.
Right.
So here's my question to you. Do you think, and it's happening for me this Christmas, I'm going to Montana and I'm going with a buddy of mine and we're going to go somewhere for Christmas lunch instead of cooking ourselves.
Yeah.
Do you think it's better to go out for Christmas dinner or Christmas lunch or cook it yourself?
Well, I mean, you're going to be
Be
traveling.
honest.
You're
No, if I'm talking about you
I
girls.
would rather cook it myself.
Would you?
I like the challenge of getting it all
Of attempting
done.
to cook?
Of attempting to cook.
Yeah.
It's an amazing experience. I love it. You're so mean. But no, I do. I mean, because there's like a science to it. You have to put everything in at a certain time, and it all has to,
But you've got the
come
kids
together.
screaming, you've got the in-laws there.
No.
You're drunk by the time you serve it because you're so freaked out by everything.
But that's the charm of it. That's the charm of this season.
I don't think it matters if you go out or you stay in. I think that sometimes it's so stressful the cooking that maybe going out is better. But for me, most of my family doesn't celebrate Christmas. So on Christmas, we're the people having Chinese and going to see a movie.
Right.
But always cooked Hanukkah dinner, but often went out for that as well.
Happy Hanukkah, by the way.
Starts at sunset.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry. But it's true, a Jewish Christmas is going to Chinese.
Yeah, and that's a lot of fun.
And
I think
movies,
whatever gives you those really good memories, then that's what you should do. If cooking is fun, do it. If it's not, shell out the money. But leave a big tip if you go out on Christmas.
I agree. I always say, I used to go somewhere every Christmas to this group of this family's home, and there was like 18 of them. And every year they would go to a different family member's house. Well, then it got to my turn. Now, I had 18 and me, and I was alone. So I'm cooking for 18. So I immediately called a caterer.
Right.
I got them to deliver everything. I hired a waiter, changed all the lounge room around, had all dining rooms put together. And they literally thought I cooked the whole damn thing. I didn't. Not one thing.
And did you tell them that you did?
Of course I did.
Yeah.
Of course I did.
But I just think of times that you've been to other people's houses, or I have memories as a child that certain family members of mine were so stressed, so upset over the cooking that they were not pleasant to be around after cooking all day.
Do you blame them?
But I wish that they just wouldn't have, you know, you didn't have to do that. Sometimes it could take the burden off if you don't feel like you, I love seeing the quotes that say you're not obligated to do any traditions that give you stress, that, you know, make you broke over the holidays. So I think it's a good time to reflect on what it is that makes you happy. Maybe it's making just a couple dishes that you really love and buying the others. You don't have to make everything or nothing. You know, like there's a middle ground, I think. Like catering some, making your favorites.
I totally agree with that. You really have to know yourself and know your limits of what you're capable of doing on that day and what you're really just not going to have time to mess with.
Because you
want everyone to enjoy themselves.
Exactly.
Tell us what you think. Head over to our Midday Kentucky Facebook page and tell us whether you would actually just go out for Christmas lunch to Cracker Barrel. Do you know what I mean? Like, seriously.
Or Chinese.
Chinese is good. I love Chinese.
So do I.
Love Chinese. Hey, something that's been all over the internet these last few days is talking about whether kids should be getting, whether they earn their Christmas presents.
Any amount of gifts. So I wanted to bring up this blog post that I saw online. That's this woman is arguing that children should only receive one gift, whatever they want the most, and that's it. They shouldn't be showered with gifts for multiple reasons. She says that's not the point of Christmas. You're spoiling them. And
that's true. I
don't know. Where do you feel on amount of gifts? And do you think that it's anyone else's business, you know, what you give your children?
Right.
I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, bottom line, I think it's nobody's business but our own, I mean, as a family. But I do agree that we probably do go way overboard on Christmas, and the kids now expect it.
Because Santa's being too busy and bringing things over.
Well, so do you think they should have to earn it? That brings us to the other point.
Yeah,
Are kids just entitled to what Santa brings them, or do you have to earn it?
I think, you know, we still say, you know, that's not the proper, you know, what you're saying to your brother right now is not proper. You know, Santa's going to be here soon, you know, things like that. So we do kind of hold that over their heads. But, I mean, bottom line is that we've already kind of established a certain amount of gifts, and they do expect about that same amount every year. I've noticed.
That's what's scary, I think, because there are kids out there that might only get one present from Santa.
Right.
And I think children, I know when I was growing up, I'd go back to school and after the holidays, and people would always say, well, what did you get? And it was always, you know, if I came from a farm, so we got a motorbike.
Right.
Not that was... It seemed extravagant compared to a friend who got a tennis racket. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But that was the sport they were in. The tennis racket was probably $200, I don't know. But when you say a motorbike or a push bike or one of the, it sounds extravagant, but I mightn't have got anything else, or I might have got a new bridle or a new saddle. Do you know what I mean?
You know, to revert also, like even if I agree with this woman in this blog, I would be like, you know, to try to revert back to one present with my kids, I mean, they would throw down. They would be like thinking it was a joke, and then when they find out it's not a joke, they would be bawling their eyes out. I know they would. I mean, there is no way we could even backpedal.
Can I tell you something?
Like
well, then someone told me last night what they would like for Christmas, an adult.
What?
No, that's what they told me. They told me what
you
they
said
wanted.
that's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I got a little bit shocked.
Why?
Because I didn't think we would be exchanging gifts.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, now I've got to, like, it was a step back. It's like, do you buy everyone gifts who you work with?
Yeah.
I'm just setting that up right now,
no.
people.
But then again, that's also, assuming everyone celebrates Christmas or but I think that the point of Christmas is giving without expecting receiving. So if I want to give everyone cards or everyone candy, I'm not expecting that. And I like things at work that are like baked goods or something. Like you don't spend a lot of money on it.
You're right.
But what I think is interesting about the amount of gifts for kids, I think it's hard to cast judgment or throw stones here because it depends how do you handle gifts the rest of the year. Because I had friends growing up that would get 20 gifts on Christmas, but that was it. Like they're, throughout November, December, not getting little things.
Right.
But then, other kids, oh, it's a Tuesday and we're at the toy store and you got a toy. Or, so you don't need all of it in December. So I think you can't really say what to give on Christmas because it's in your household, how you handle
and
toys.
financially,
I don't know, right?
too, where you're at financially as well. I mean, that makes a
I think it's
big
pressure.
impact.
I think it's pressure.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that whole Christmas giving thing. It's just me.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, up next we'll learn more about the teeth whitening options offered by Dr. Gina. Plus later on, make shopping this season a little easier with some awesome gift ideas from Liberty Hill Antiques. Keep it right here everyone, you're watching Midday Kentucky.